Welcome back to Monday Madness. Welcome, everyone. What's going on? Rough weekend, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Being consistent on YouTube, as promised.
Yeah.
You can tell I have had a rough weekend. My hat is tilted.
What'd you do? Did you tie one on?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it happens.
It does. Just, have a few drinks. Too many. Well,
Did you black out? If you didn't black out, then you're fine.
yeah, I didn't black out. I remember everything. I think I remember everything. Hey, Nerdy Geek is here. What's up, Bruce? Dan's Comic Corner. Hello, Nerdy Bruce.
Hello.
Not much, buddy. Working on that video. I will be appearing on Dan's Comic Corner on the 21st. Starting a new show. On the lookout. I will be their first guest.
Yeah, was it him and Nerdy Geek are hosting it? I think you mentioned that yesterday.
So it should be a fun show. I kind of like both those guys. They're okay.
Well,
endorsement.
I
said that's a ringing endorsement.
It really is. From me, of course it is. I hate everybody usually.
This is true.
It is true. After being on Max's channel for over a year, you just start to hate people.
It really hardens you.
Here we go. Please sub up to Nerdy Geek. He just started his new channel. We got to give him the 50 subs so he can go live and I can make fun of his show. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Me and Nerdy Geek got a bromance going on. I don't know how it happened, but
yeah, he seems to collect figurines like you do comic books. Love his backdrop.
Huh?
He seems to collect figurines like you do comic books. I mean, he's got a great backdrop.
He really does. Some of those figurines are amazing. I was first time I saw them, I was like, "Where's mine?" And then I realized I have no place to put those things. I only have room for comic books.
Yeah,
I say surprised none of you, Bruce, were behind you.
I say the same, Bruce, whenever I look at your comic book wall back there.
Those old things back there. And sub up to Dan's Comic Corner. So you guys get to see me on his show Saturday the 21st. I forgot what time. Whatever time it is, it's an hour ahead of me. Living in Nova Scotia up there. I'm gonna cancel your membership? Jeez, Nerdy. Oh my god. There's been so much comings and goings and so much news around DC this week. People's panties are in a bunch. People faking news stories now.
Oh, you mean that Reddit post? God.
Yeah.
What fake news do we got? What was that? What was that referencing?
Oh, it was someone claiming to be a Snyder fan. Saying boycott Superman.
Yeah, not just boycott. Buy tickets so fans can't.
The Reddit post, the Snyderist.
Yes.
Reddit post. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought maybe there was some other stuff out there.
No, it's just that one. It's funny. People are quick to assume, but didn't realize that no one from that community actually reposted and shared that Reddit post at all.
Mm-hmm.
I
know a lot of the guys that support Wallets Closed, and
yeah,
we're all like, yeah, this ain't it.
Yeah, Wallets Closed is a lot different than buy tickets hold the tickets, then cancel the tickets like the day before, or whatever, which is just stupid. The show is at 9 p.m. Eastern. And what the hell is 10 AST?
That's when you make toast. At 10 AST, you make toast.
Oh.
See, now I can't unsee that.
Yes, Blue Jay. Spread wide open. Brian's internet has been going in and out for the last couple hours. Hopefully he'll be back. Don might show up if he stops playing with himself in the shower. Oh, sorry, family show. Sorry.
It's never been a family show.
I will say this: my comic show is very tame. It's always the Monday night shows that gets a little wild.
Well, you get you and me together on a show, and anything's bound to happen. Then you add in these other delightful gentlemen.
I would like to just say from the start, I am not a reprobate. No matter what this woman tells you, I am not a reprobate.
I legit have on my channel me talking about pizza and it sounds dirty. So
what?
There's I will send it to you. It's in my poem collection.
Mama Bear.
Yes.
With a voice like yours, do you not see why?
No, it's fully intentional. It's the way it's worded. But yes, yeah. I do play up the voice.
you really want Chris to come body slam you from the other room, don't you?
Yeah, we'll just suddenly hear a crash and mine.
Thank you, Missing Mars. Hey, welcome. Atlantic Standard Time. It is not toast time. Atlantic Standard Time.
I would like to point out
anytime is toast time.
I would like to point out that was not me hitting on Mama Bear earlier.
You're looking at the door, aren't you?
Yes, he is.
Nah, he's asleep. He's asleep. But that's why I'm trying to be a little bit quiet. He's laying down.
You know, you're going to be asleep when he watches this on the rewind.
I know.
Did he jump you?
I would again like to point out this was not my fault. I was just stating obvious facts.
I don't know about that. And since somebody mentioned Ray Skywalker,
who are you? I'm Ray. Ray who? Ray Skywalker.
Why do you hate me so, Bruce? You keep playing that clip.
I play that clip because it's fun, and I love me some Ray.
I actually don't mind Ray. I'm still kind of trying to curiously wonder why they chose Ray Skywalker, but
no, I'm names that she could have gone with.
I am a Star Wars fan that absolutely hate the sequels.
Yeah.
I just don't care. One way or the other, you know.
I mean, her boyfriend was a Solo.
I think she's going to get that chance again, though.
You think she just took it for that movie only and going?
No, I think that she took it because they didn't have anything, because they just were making it up as they went along. And
I would like to point out that so was George Lucas when he made the first trilogy.
Well, no, yeah, but yes, of course, absolutely. Yeah. Just it's no different, really. But yeah, it's not really a criticism. They didn't know where to go, and that's where they went.
My biggest criticism, she spends three movies getting chased by John Boyega, and she goes for the bad boy.
Don't all women?
That's how it usually goes.
He would have had me in the first movie.
Yeah. But I think what was in the earliest drafts of Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Jedi, whatever he was going to call it, he was intending to have the Jedi we had already seen now, like Obi-Wan and Yoda and Anakin, return to corporeal form, not just remain Force ghosts, but actually return to corporeal form on the physical plane.
That is true.
How?
And like everything with Star Wars since the prequels, they just leave it to Dave Filoni to come in 3 to 5 years later to retroactively retrofit everything to
the reason
make
behind
sense.
that. The reason behind that was because Luke was supposed to have brought balance to the Force.
Yeah. I forget what that. Yeah, and
which is why that was supposed to happen.
And Filoni loves recycling old ideas and old concept art, and I just don't think we've seen the last of Ben Solo.
I really like Ben Solo as a character. I do love.
Yeah, it was a just having it was an abs. That's I mean, if those movies are as big a cinematic travesty as like The Hobbit and the prequel trilogy, that's the biggest opportunity is not have him.
Yeah.
Turn to the light earlier and see that character kind of develop a little bit before he died. That's what bummed me out the most about those movies.
And he didn't get enough time to breathe as a character,
because when he does that little shrug like his dad, after he pulls a lightsaber out from his back and he does that little shrug like his dad on Endor, that was priceless. But we got what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You wasted Adam Driver. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to push back on the whole prophecy thing, though, because Vader was the one that was supposed to bring balance to the Force, and I stand by it.
Leave it to Dave Filoni to come back,
and he did. He did.
No, Vader did. When the prophecy was enacted, the Sith were pretty much underground and in hiding, and the Jedi were everywhere. By the end of the third movie, there was 2 Jedi, 2 Sith. Balance.
Yep. Balance.
I don't know. Balance in the Force is boring. I like turmoil. I want chaos. I want Siths everywhere.
You like chaos, that's why you like having me on here.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty much why he brings me in anymore either. I said it's pretty much why you bring me in too, the chaos.
Chaos.
It's his Ian Malcolm.
It has to be some madness on Mondays. Or I have to change the show to Mondays? I don't know.
Boring Mondays?
Pretty much.
Mid Mondays.
I like Monday Madness. Mind you, Mad is literally my name, so
yeah. It could be mid-movie entertainment. Or is that taken?
Yeah.
Somebody got it. What's going on, Crazy Joe? Christina Payne is here. So let's run the thing and get into the show, because that's what people are here for. Oh, yes. Before we get into the news, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. And if you guys didn't check out my off-the-shelf show from Friday, I started a new segment, Jeopardy. We had 3 great contestants. My good friend Matt from Heroes for Hire Comic Club won. But he will not be here this week, so we're going to have 3 new contestants. Brian Master of None, Big Jeff, and Josh, International Comics. And then next week, the winner of this week will face off against Brian. Not Brian. I'm always saying you're going to win, God damn it. But face off the winner this week, face off against Matt next week with Kevin from God damn it, Random Reads. So it should be a good Shorty Friday. If anyone wants to take the opportunity to be on Jeopardy, let me know and I'll schedule you for a show.
I would like to be on the Jeopardy show, man.
Ooh. So I will.
I'm assuming that if there's a big Jeff, there's also a little Jeff.
Well, he's Big Jeff because he's 6'7", 6'8".
Oh yeah, that's a big Jeff, all right.
Yes. Anything else I don't know about? I didn't ask.
Mhm.
You're a strange, weird little man. You know that, Bruce?
I am. Crazy Joe, I am the reigning Jeopardy champ on Junkman's channel. Uh-oh. So I guess we're going to have to schedule Joe for, let me see, 20. If you're around July, is anybody going to be around July 4th?
I'm not.
Maybe I'll do
It's just a day for me.
I'm actually pretty good at Jeopardy, so whichever day.
So Joe, if you want to come on for Jeopardy, let me know and I'll schedule you on. It's not just comic book Jeopardy. We have had all types of first show we had all types of categories from potent potables,
Potables,
movie comedies, 4-letter words,
Noir.
yeah, we have some good and Marvel first appearances. So if you're not, every week there will be a comic theme category. So if you're not comfortable with comics, there's other categories you might be able to clean up in. So
Yeah, I'll take 8 kit for 500. It's funny when they have they did the celebrity ship on SNL, but Norm Macdonald doing Burt Reynolds.
Take Tittles.
I like the Sean Connery.
Oh, it was so good.
All
right,
I'll take the
weekend box office. How to Train Your Dragon reigns supreme with 84 million. Lilo and Stitch number 2 with 15.7. The Materialist 12 million. A24's highest debut, I believe. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning 10.5. From the World of John Wick Ballerina 9.7. Karate Kid Legends Having Legs at 5.2. Final Destination still holding on at 4. The Phoenician Scheme 3.2. The Life of Chuck 2.3. And Sinners is still in the top 10, even though it's been in digital for 2 weeks now?
It's good to see that Final Destination and Sinners are still holding on in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we can actually say this is I will say this is a very well-rounded top 10. You have something for everyone, for kids, for adults, action enthusiasts, horror.
For the top 2 being live action remakes of kids movies is amazing.
Yeah, we watched Lilo and Stitch. Actually, really good movie.
I haven't watched it yet, but Chris watched it with his daughter, and they said it was pretty good. So,
really loved that they brought back the original voice actors for Nani and David for cameos in the movies. I loved it. I am struggling with Bubbles. I'm not going to lie. That would not have been my choice for Bubbles. Good actor, but not would have been my choice.
We have a question for the panel from Joe. How do you guys feel about the Leto situation? Is this going to screw up the release of Tron or Masters of the Universe?
What's going on with Jared Leto aside from the usual?
9 women have accused him of sexual assault.
Wonderful.
Was it on his island?
That's been coming for years, though, hasn't it?
There's been whispers of stuff like this, but I think the last allegation was from a trans girl that she was 16 or 17 when she went up to his room. But
Jesus,
the story changed so much and never went anywhere.
I don't know, Joe. It might.
I don't know. I know people love Tron, but I don't think Tron was going to be a big box office smash anyway. And Masters of the Universe already had a lot against it. An old 80s
Prince Adam
property.
works at Old Navy, and
give me a discount on Old Navy has the worst jeans ever. I will say that they fall apart.
Well, He-Man wears Old Navy jeans. He has to rep his employer in this movie, apparently.
You know, the cast for He-Man looks amazing. And being a fan of the original cartoon, you know, I am looking forward to seeing it regardless.
I felt my childhood
like
the last vestiges. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I felt the last vestiges of my childhood disappear from my being in the summer of 1987 when I'm sitting with my best friend in the theater watching that movie, thinking, Jesus Christ! Like
I used to love the show. Had all the toys, not all of them, but you know, had a bunch of toys. And then when it came to dealing with the movie, I absolutely loved it. I
get it. Like you're probably my youngest brother's age, and like they can't. They speak its praises. I get it, Brian. I'm not knocking it.
I was 5.
Wrong.
5.
Yeah, you
5 at 87.
So yeah. I was 17. I was entering college that summer. So
yeah.
But watching it now,
I used to run home from school to watch He-Man every day.
Yeah.
I love
it. Yeah, oh, absolutely. We had those toys 2 years before the cartoon even aired. So we didn't know there was going to be a cartoon. There was the comics. Yeah, there were the comics that came with the toys. And then there was the DC mini and that one DC Comics Presents where he fights Superman or whatever, teams up with Superman. And then the cartoon. And then the cartoon's where it blew up.
Yeah, those
we had already ran through.
Those little mini comics that came with those toys are worth so much money.
Yeah.
They do not see them a lot.
Didn't they just reprint them recently? In the collection? Or am I thinking of something else?
Might be thinking of, they did a compendium for Thundercats and G.I. Joe recently. Oh, I was 22 when it came. I absolutely loved it. I've been called a forever child many times. So have I. I will not grow up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I am a Toys R Us kid.
Yeah, dude,
I still have that here.
I watched Turbo Power Rangers movie. Okay.
I'm
Turbo a Power Rangers movie.
I have a friend of mine's band is on that soundtrack.
Oh, awesome.
No, I am still a Toys R Us kid. That we still have that up here.
I know. I meant to go to Toys R Us while I was in Canada. Instead, we ended up at GameStop. I'm like, why are we going to GameStop? Why are we going to GameStop?
You're in a group of nerds. What do you expect?
GameStop's up in Canada or EB Games now, right?
No, there haven't been EB Games for years. I was told.
No, they've recently changed. Somebody bought them. The co-owner of McFarlane Toys bought GameStop Canada and has renamed it EB Games.
Oh, because the one we went to was GameStop.
I'm assuming they haven't started the process of renaming the stores yet and everything because it's been fairly recently that this happened.
Yeah.
That's why you see McFarlane toy product that's exclusive to certain retailers here in the United States. All of it in Canada goes to GameStop EB Games because it's all in-house for him.
Yeah, and this box office, like I was saying earlier, there's something here for everyone, and these are good movies regardless of the box office. Most of these are really good movies. They have a good word of mouth. I don't want to see. I really hate people complaining. There's nothing Hollywood's putting out. They're putting out what people want to see. Franchise movies, remake.
It's putting out good movies, but the problem is that everybody who wants to complain about movies and the state of cinema these days are ignoring what's coming out and saying, "Oh, nothing new comes out."
Yeah.
I mean, the proof is in the punch when it comes to Sinners, because a whole side of the entertainment YouTube sphere couldn't find anything to complain about with it, so they didn't do any videos on it. for weeks until just a few days ago. And that movie's been out for
Because there's no
nearly
money
2
on
months.
it.
It's because
There's no money in positivity.
There's no money in positivity.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Did the materialist make its budget back in a single weekend?
I think so.
Yeah, close to it.
What was their budget, like 11, 12, 13, something like around there?
It was
Yeah,
around there,
I'm gonna assume that as much, but I think that's what I read, that it already made its budget back.
Well, let
Yeah, I
me look
heard-
that up. Let me look that up real quick.
I heard Perp saying that it was a really good movie. That he actually liked Pedro Pascal's performance over what's his name, Captain
Chris
America.
Evans.
Evans, yes.
Okay, so the film's budget was $20 million. It's almost made it back in 1 weekend.
Nice. I think it's gonna have legs because Pedro
And-
Pascal is a draw now.
Yeah, and it's got a couple more weekends before it proves itself.
Yeah.
And a lot of horror movies are made for cheap, so they always make back their budget and then some.
No, Materialist. It's a romance comedy.
It's a rom-com. I mean, there's really no other way to slice it, but it kind of deconstructs and dissects them in a way that, I mean, it's subtle how she does it, but it's kind of brilliant too.
Well, I've seen about half of what's up here. I've seen Life of Chuck, which is based on a Stephen King thing. I've seen Sinners, seen Karate Kid Legends, Final Destination Bloodlines, and I'm probably going to watch The Ballerina before too long. So I've seen half of what's up there. I'll probably end up watching most of what's on this list.
Yeah, I will say this. I do regret. Not seeing Snow White in the theaters. I watched probably like 30 minutes of it, but today before my soaps came on, and it's wonderful from what I saw so far. I mean, it was totally the opposite of what critics said and what people that claim they saw the movie. Like Gal Gadot wasn't a bad queen. She fit the role as the evil queen. She was scary from what I've seen.
Too bad. What's her face didn't fill in the other half.
Yeah. I like there are already some clips out on, like, some shorts out on YouTube from that Snow White movie, and what I've seen from the shorts, I have no regrets not watching it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't plan on.
I'm an original Snow White fan, so I can't with this version.
Joe says
I haven't seen the original.
Very overrated. It has pacing issues. Mission
Well,
Impossible
your
was
fault.
not great, but better than the last one. Lily and Stitch and How to Train a Dragon are great. Lilo and Stitch.
Okay,
I haven't seen the original Snow White since probably Laserdisc, and this one isn't in my wheelhouse. I don't have any interest in seeing it. I care if it makes money or not.
I can't follow Joe down the path of disliking Sinners. I just can't.
Same.
That's a great movie. It's a great movie. I'm sorry.
You see, and see, now you're living up to your name, Joe.
See, Sinners, in my top 3 vampire movies, Sinners kicked one of my top 3 movies out to replace it.
I wouldn't go that far.
But him saying that Snow White is one of the year's best films, and it's no,
That's right.
honey, no.
Well, I'm probably gonna watch the rest of the movie tonight after the stream, and I will give a full review on my next stream or next Monday Madness or whatever comes first. But I'm enjoying it so far. I'm a fan of Rachel Ziegler. I'm biased. I love her singing.
Well, it wasn't good enough to actually finish in one sitting.
No, it was time for my soaps. I stop everything for my
Once
soaps.
again, I repeat, it was not good enough to watch in one sitting.
Listen, I will stop sex.
You can
to watch
go on
Hope.
demand yourself, brother.
My
Tell me you don't have those on
11-year-old
record.
My 11-year-old loves Snow White. Shout out to Mad Monkey Love Lockwin. He is a great artist for Marvel, and I met him at Niagara Falls at the con, and he was gracious enough to gift me with this hand-drawn Bane card.
That's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. His artwork. If you guys want to follow him, he's on Instagram, Mad Monkey Love.
Wow.
Such an awesome guy. We hung out, had beers, and hung out in the bar. Awesome. And, you know, Canadians are so nice.
90% of the time.
Wow, Bruce, killer gift.
Mm-hmm.
So let me so if you let me find Locke's YouTube page. So he's actually drawn live.
Oh.
Why is he not showing up in the other chat? Oh, here he goes. Here we go. I will copy, and then he does commissions. If you want something drawn, anything you want, he will draw it within reason, guys. Within reason. Keep it PG, guys.
Yeah, don't give that blank check to Joe.
Americans can learn a lot from Canadians.
That's true.
Isaac didn't like Snow White. But check out his art. Great guy, and you will not be disappointed. All right, let's enough for the box office. What do you got next over here? Dustin Daniel Creighton is reportedly developing a new MCU show. What show could he possibly be working on? Any ideas, guys?
It could have something to do with Kunlo, Iron Fist, and possibly Shang-Chi. Who knows?
Iron Fist would be nice.
Maybe we'll get an actual Iron Fist instead of what Netflix gave us.
That's one thing. I stopped watching the Netflix shows probably after Jessica Jones finished.
I hardly enjoyed Daredevil, the most recent Daredevil, but that's just me. No.
You're in the same boat as I am. When I say it was Daredevil bored again, people come at me. And, DC fanboy. I'm sorry. I wanted to see Daredevil. We did the slow build with Matt Murdock in the Netflix show. We did not need to see a slow burn for the Disney show.
I think second season's going to pick up because of what I've heard storyline-wise behind it.
Well, as you have seen with some of the rumored castings, all it is for me, it seems like it's going to be cameo porn with other superheroes and stuff. Not for nothing. That was not a exciting character alone.
I'm just saying they could bring back Luke Cage.
I agree with you. I would have rather a Luke Cage show than a Daredevil show.
They're actually talking about. They're definitely bringing back Jessica Drew. Not Jessica Drew. Jessica
Jones.
And the guy that played Luke Cage is talking about coming back. So
yay!
It's supposed to get a little bit more defendery in the second season. So
oh god, Defenders didn't work the first time.
I said defendery. I didn't say totally defendery.
I don't know. I will say this. What's the actor's name that played Luke Cage?
Jesus. Hold on.
Mike Coulter.
Mike Coulter. Mike Coulter was in a show on Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Paramount called Evil? He played a hot priest.
He could play a hot anything. Yeah, he did. He played across from. Oh God. Former SCTV star. Another Canadian.
Evil was one of the best shows that people did not watch.
Yeah.
I watched
So
part of it.
good.
I've watched part of it. I haven't finished it yet, but it looks.
I love the little
really good.
nun and her killing demons.
Mm-hmm.
Another good show, and I'm surprised it's getting a 5th season. Just talking about shows, True Detective is getting a 5th season. With all that time between seasons, like it went from 2021 to the last year that they did season 4, and now season 5 should be out by 2027.
I've never watched any of the seasons.
Dude,
of
True
that.
Detective.
Same showrunner, the beautiful and talented Issa Lopez is returning to do the next season.
Oh.
Yeah, but the it's a great show. But each season, it's kind of like Fargo was. Each season is a different story at a different time period. But it's actually really good.
Yeah.
Something you should put on your list there.
The actress was Katja Herbers.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the old nun.
Miracles that starred Skeet Ulrich and only lasted 13. Miracles. Why does that sound familiar?
I just binge watched over the last 2 days a show called Paradise on Hulu.
Andrea
It
Martin.
might be the best show that I have seen in. When was Mayor of Easttown? 2020, 2021?
Yeah.
Anyway, this show on Hulu, 8 episodes. It's called Paradise, first season. Just a remarkable piece of work. Just an unreal series. I was blown away. Once I started, I couldn't stop.
I actually went back and started rewatching the Highlander show from the 90s. It's dated, of course, but like that show still stands up storyline wise. It's weird.
You know, when I first started watching Evil, I had no idea if the demons were real or not, or that was the mystery of the show. And it was such well acted. I really hated her daughters. They were the baddest kids I've ever seen. They did not listen. They would have been shipped off somewhere. Just saying.
Thank you, Joe.
But I assume if Daniel Destin Craig's doing a show, it's probably going to have to do with like Iron Fist or something like that, or maybe something with Shang-Chi or
maybe a spinoff.
Maybe
bringing Iron Fist back.
You know, honestly, I actually liked Shang-Chi. I don't see why people didn't. It was
I really enjoyed that.
It was probably one of the more original movies out of the MCU. So,
honestly,
and don't get me wrong, I like the MCU, but I'm not a huge Avengers fan. And like I've said a million times before, the stuff I'm waiting for is coming. So.
Brian's turning into Darth Vader.
Brian
fell asleep.
Yep. But moving on, we have Star Wars original 1977 theatrical cut reportedly looked terrible in its first screening in decades. Every scene had a visceral sense of watching actual people photographed doing actual things with sets and props that have been physically sawn and glued in place. I guess this wasn't the final cut.
Well, no, of course not. It was called a work print, and of course it was going to look horrible. They hadn't put all the special effects in it. No, but see, this is another place where I argue with people when they talk about, oh, reshoots are a bad sign. Reshoots are a bad sign. No, they're not. Trust me, they're not.
This was the BFI print of the original film. It was finished. It's their BFI premiere. It was the print that premiered at the BFI in the UK in 1977.
Weird.
Wow.
So it
What's
looks as it did in 1977. It doesn't have A New Hope at the opening crawl. Some of the words are spelled differently, capitalized or uncapitalized in the opening crawl. And there were additional sound effects changes, and he swapped scenes out. Well, not swapped scenes out. He swapped takes out through each. Even when the movie was still in its first run, he was swapping out reels regularly. Empire got even crazier. He was swapping out reels, making changes through each of these movies' theatrical runs. There were changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And this represents what was unchanged. But here's the thing: the restorative work that has been done on the unaltered original trilogy has been done. There will be people that will tell you that that's ridiculous, that it hasn't been done. Why would they do that? Well, it was done before Disney bought them. I think the last time someone I knew saw them was 2013, 2014. So it's been a while, but get ready because they're coming.
What?
We will see the unaltered original trilogy again sooner rather than later.
Mm.
That's all I got.
yeah, because it's not like they had like breakthrough special effects in 1977. It was a step above Dark Shadows.
This was groundbreaking special effects in 1977.
Yes, yeah, step above.
Yeah, we've never seen anything like it. Never. 2001 was probably as close as it had ever come, but even then, those weren't really. They didn't have action in them, so to speak. They were just beautiful shots of spaceships doing their spaceship thing.
Spaceship things.
Star Wars was a bit more kinetic, but you can definitely feel that there was definitely some Kubrick influence in there.
If it wasn't for Star Wars, we wouldn't have got any of the Star Trek movies in the 80s. We wouldn't have gotten Alien.
I don't know about that.
We wouldn't have gotten Alien at the very least, because Alien tacked on behind Star Wars.
Didn't Alien come out like the year after?
79.
79.
And the Star Trek movies wouldn't have been as good as they were in the 80s. I'm sorry.
It
That's
definitely
coming
helped
from
them get
Star Wars.
made. Yeah.
That's coming
Yeah.
from a Star Trek fan. I love most of those movies. I'm not fond of the first one. I'm not fond of Motion Picture. But most of those movies were great. But if it hadn't been for the groundbreaking stuff that George Lucas did with ILM and what he did with Star Wars in 77, I'm sorry. A lot of the sci-fi in the 80s still would have been boring as hell.
Okay.
If you look up sometime how many movies have actually had ILM working on their special effects. Look at how many movies. More than just anything that Lucas has made. Just the ILM in general has been on so many movies it's not even funny.
Do you think it's let me see. Let me ask you guys. Do you think it's special effects of Star Wars, the sequel trilogy, were leaps and bounds above the prequel trilogy?
No.
I would say, with the exception of Attack of the Clones, which a lot of the CGI in Attack of the Clones was just horrible, I would say no. But that being said, I don't know. The CGI in the sequel trilogy wasn't bad for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But Attack of the Clones in the prequel movies was fucking horrible. I'm sorry, that middle movie in the prequels was fucking horrible.
Yeah, but for me, it was also the fight scenes in the sequel trilogies. We went from like the prequel trilogies having these epic lightsaber battles, you know, that were choreographed in a large part because of Ray Park,
Right.
to you're handing a bunch of people, you know, cardboard tubes and they're just whacking away at each other. There was no finesse. There was no. It was missing for me, that aspect.
Yeah.
The best part of Attack of the Clones was probably the Yoda Dooku fight.
Oh yeah.
The best fight of the prequel trilogy, though, has got to be the brothers fight. I mean, Duel of Fates in the first movie is a pretty good fight. Don't get me wrong, but the brothers fight at the end of Revenge of the Sith is probably the best lightsaber fight we've ever gotten in general.
Yeah. And I think that stands across the board. Like most Star Wars fans would agree with that.
Well, not me. I still think the fight in Episode 5 of Alkalite is probably one of the best.
That I was actually going to back that up too, Bruce. I was going to back that up too.
And
the reason why is that whole fucking episode was a lightsaber battle. It was a running lightsaber battle, and it was really good. And I think it almost comes close to the Revenge of the Sith brothers fight. Almost.
Have anybody ever seen Star Crash?
Yes, I have, and it's a B movie. It's a B movie. It's horrible, but it's one of those that's so bad.
Joe owns it on DVD. I will say this: Joe, taste in movies. He will watch any movie. He is a true movie fan. He doesn't care about critics' opinions of stuff, audience opinions of stuff. He will watch stuff and give his own opinion. I will say that about Joe.
Honestly,
as crazy as his takes are, he is a true movie fan.
Honestly, Bruce, I'm the same way.
Good old Lewis Coates.
I don't care what other people have to say about movies. If I want to watch it, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
I love me some Luigi Cozy movies, or excuse me, some Coates movies. They're hoots.
See, I've watched a lot of. I actually call Yoda the Jesus frog because he's bouncing off of everything like he's floating on air. What I think is funny about that scene though is when he fights Dooku. They're fighting, and then like after Dooku runs, Yoda's like looking around for a minute, and then he's like, cane to hand, act like an old man again. You know, it's like it's funny just the way he looks around before he picks up his cane.
Yeah.
He's like, is anybody watching?
Hey, Matt is in the chat. The current reigning champion of Jeopardy. On shot first.
I agree.
Critics' opinions are irrelevant. The only opinions that I care about are mine. I agree with you.
I completely agree with Joe, and I think a lot of us need to get back to that.
Absolutely.
Give your opinion about a movie. Yeah. Absolutely, give your opinion about a movie. I may agree or may disagree with you.
Yeah.
But Discord being what it is, stop telling people not to go to fucking movies, man.
I really hate that. I really, really hate that.
And another thing I hate. Well, I watched it, so you didn't have to. Well, I didn't fucking ask you to watch it for me. Go to hell. You know, like
the only time the words, you know, don't go watch it has ever fallen out of my mouth is when it came to Shazam 2.
I love Shazam too.
Fair. No, but like
when she pulled the little girl pull out the Skittles for the unicorns.
That scene was okay, but Levi was so bad in that movie.
He was bad in that. He overacted his ass off. Overacted.
There's a movie critic that I watch. His name is Cody Leach. He will tell you whether he likes or dislikes a movie. He'll give you the pros, the cons, and the mixed. But he never will once tell you, don't go see this movie. And that's how I think we should be when it comes to, I mean, be a critic, sure. Hate a movie if you want to. But, and I agree, Mwamba, I agree. But
the rainbow.
It's the rainbow.
I will say this, regardless of Levi, I still enjoyed Shazam 2. And anybody that didn't like Aquaman 2, they can kick rocks because Momoa can do no wrong in a superhero movie for me. Thank you very much.
Yaya went full beast mode in that movie.
He did. Oh my
Also,
Terry,
another thing.
Terry, absolutely, I still hold that movie against him. I will never
Also-
forgive him for that movie.
Also, another thing
Alexander.
that I
We don't talk
appreciate.
about Alexander.
Another thing that I will say about movies that just really irks the crap out of me is when people try to push this box office means everything. You
Yes.
realize that a lot of the classic movies that everybody holds up as classics today were box office bombs.
Yeah.
Big
Thing.
big fan of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that movie. So I've seen that movie.
I do
Used
too.
to watch that movie all the time with my dad.
Love
here's the
love
thing.
that
Oh,
love
such
that
a great
movie. I
movie.
did the reading challenge for it. I
Right.
have a book I still need to read for that. Actually. Two technically.
But here's the thing. The Thing is a major example of this.
Mhm.
When the Thing came out, it bombed at the box office, horribly so. But now it's held up as a classic.
Mhm.
Christine, same difference.
Don't talk about Christine.
The original Halloween failed the box office, but looked at it's a classic now. Another movie in the Halloween series that people used to complain about horribly, but has gained a lot of fall behind a lot of people behind it these days is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
Let me address CJH. I've always made these points on MME, but have been called crazy. Though to be fair, I am crazy. You're not crazy. You're just surrounded by crazy. Those panels are crazy.
No, I've known CJ for a while. He is a little crazy, but that kind of goes with the whole Canadian thing too. So
Come on. Look, we put ourselves out here on YouTube,
Yeah.
regardless of how many people watch us. We're all a little bit nuts, okay?
Who, me?
yeah, finally have the opportunity to do this. Bonsoir, Jean.
Oh,
Exactly.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Does that sound okay?
That's good.
CJH, we do not movie shame here. We do not laugh at people for having their own opinion of movies and TV shows, and we welcome everyone here.
It's like my friends in my Discord chat say.
Except for Chris.
It's like my friends in my Discord group say. We don't movie shame here. We movie ask why.
Mm-hmm. Shawshank bombed, yes.
Shawshank bombed. Not all of the Indiana Jones movies did well, but they're all considered classics now.
Mm-hmm. You know, I will say.
And by the way, when it comes to Indiana Jones, I liked Dial of Destiny.
I don't
understand why other people.
I've never seen the last two. I haven't seen the last two yet.
I wish they had picked a different actor, because I struggled with him.
Are you talking about the woman that was in that movie?
No, this. Oh, I'm thinking of a different. I'm thinking of the previous Indiana Jones, the one with
Crystal Skull.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, Shia. Poor guy.
Look, Shia was a great actor at one point, and he's coming back again. But he had some issues, man. But a lot of that came from him being a child actor. A lot of that came from him being self-medicating and not getting help.
Yeah.
A lot of that is just you can't help what happens to these actors. They need help, and people don't notice that.
That's good evening to everyone.
Tout le monde.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Bravo on your pronunciation.
Bonsoir tout le
monde. Not bad for an Ontario girl.
I learned a little French from my second wife. So.
What? Did anyone know our government put out a traveler?
He's serious. I do know about this.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
I can't. This is why I'm doing the stream, because I didn't want to talk about this crap.
What, you didn't want to talk about World War III?
No, I didn't want to talk about World War III. I wanted to have some fun before we go into World War III. Damn it.
All right, well, here we go. Où est mon beret pipon? I just said, where's my gentil beret?
Gentil beret.
Hey, man. Most
must-
most Ontarians, man, they can just look at the most French that they know is "Où est la bibliothèque?" and you look somebody dead on the eyes and go "Flacon de mai." Best insult ever. And I'm probably and Jean is probably bursting out laughing right now because I just called somebody cornflakes.
John Carter tanked as well, but due to poor I really enjoyed John Carter.
I like John Connor.
I really like
John
that.
Carter.
And I like the comics of John Carter.
I used to love the books. I read all of the John Carter books. They're amazing for well over 100-year-old books now. They are great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I will say this about movie talk in the last 2 years. It's everyone is a financial analyst now. Everyone is a sit-at-home CEO. Everyone is a VFX specialist now. They have a degree in color grading. Did I miss anything? I'm just saying, did I miss anything?
Lighting, set,
Yes.
all of it, man. The
score is always rated, and I know people that go into this stuff because they are like cinephiles, and full respect to them. Or the one that always gets me, and we've even mentioned it earlier in the show, is the CGI.
Yeah.
Half the time when people are complaining about bad CGI, I don't catch it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, because you're not sitting there looking for mistakes in the movie or slowing it down to like a millisecond and going frame by frame by frame looking for something. You know, you're just trying to enjoy the movie.
I think YouTube movie talk. I think a lot of people over the
I'm
last
not calling
10 years,
anybody out named Max.
I think over the last 10 years, people have gotten this sense of we have to criticize everything because anybody with a microphone and a computer can get on. Hell, anybody with a phone can get on it and make their opinions known on YouTube.
And the negative opinions are actually promoted more on YouTube and a lot of other platforms. That actually do know some larger YouTubers that are absolute sweethearts behind the scenes. You get them off camera, they're some of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet, but they are assholes on camera, and they amp it up.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is woke, everything is trash. You know.
Yeah, but
that is the go-to now for something, movies that people don't like or comics they don't like. It's woke.
I think people have forgotten how to just go and enjoy a fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly do. And I think and I used to say this on the show with William when I was on with William for the longest time there, it doesn't really, these people who scream woke and are the assholes you talk about, Mama Bear, they think they speak for everybody. And they actually don't speak for a good deal of John Q and Susie Q Public. They don't.
No.
A lot of people don't give a fuck about us fanboys and what we think. Their kids want to see the pretty superhero movie, so they're going to go, and maybe mama gets to watch some eye candy or daddy gets to watch some eye candy in the process. That's all they care about. And I in fact, I spoke with a while back. I went to the theater here with Chris, and I spoke to a lady that runs one of these movie theaters. And she said her problem wasn't with movies being woke. She brought it up to me because I said something about, doing YouTube and all that. She says, no, my problem isn't with movies being woke. The whole problem that they had with keeping people in the theater was there's a recession on right now. Not a whole lot of people are going to movies because streaming services are cheaper, and it takes only 45 days to get a movie most times.
Mm-hmm.
COVID was a big issue, and I'm hearing this from more than one theater owner. I've actually gone out and asked these questions, and people can tell me I'm wrong all they want, but I'm sorry, I've actually spoken with these people. I've heard what their problems are. Yeah, people are getting streaming services because, I'm sorry, it's just easier to sit in your home for $20 a month, get all the movies and shows you want, and your refrigerator's 10 steps away. You know what I'm saying?
And you don't have this is a true story. You don't have a group of teenagers sitting in front of you playing a game on their phone the entire time. That happened when I went to one of the Jurassic Park movies, one of the recent ones.
There you go.
Yeah, that is my biggest problem I've had with a lot of people in these spaces, that because I'm in both comics and movie talk, so it's always, I heard that this is bad. People told me this is bad. I read the headline but did not read the article bad. You know,
Mhm.
it's and then that whole narrative spreads to friends and families, and before long, a good movie becomes, this movie sucks because someone told me it sucks. No. All right, let's
By
get
the
back
way,
on track.
by
We've
the
been on
way,
this live forever.
Gene Malo, by the way, absolument, I agree. You can pause and go take a piss, and you don't have to miss the movie.
Listen, I'm getting, hold on, I'm getting a little turned on by all this French talk here.
Oh, my chef.
Next up, Mission Impossible 8 crossed 500 million at the global box office. Production budget was reportedly 400 million. It's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise does whatever the hell he wants. They give Tom Cruise anything he wants. And any 500 million is a win for this movie, I guess. And people that enjoyed it.
Hey, look, this will
Yeah,
probably be the
anything
last
this movie
Mission
made was
Impossible.
good.
Yeah.
This will probably be his last Mission Impossible movie.
Yes.
It went out with a bang. It was, I mean, it was worth watching. All of them have been. And he got to do what he wanted to do.
Mhm.
Now, anything out from this is gravy for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's made his money off of these movies.
Okay. One, I will completely agree with Nerdy Geek because that scene when you were in the theater, everybody lost it, and that
Yep.
was wonderful. It's actually one of the things that I do regret about not getting to see the second of the Abrams Star Trek movies in theater,
Yeah.
because there was so much hype and build up around who Benedict Cumberbatch was playing. We all knew he was Khan, but they were denying it. So I as soon as he said, "I am Khan," I went, "Yes!" And I'm sure it was the reaction of the theater probably would better. Was just
Mama
as
Bear.
same.
I am Khan.
Yeah.
I love that line. I love that line.
Oh,
I'm
and
really
CJ,
looking forward to Judy,
I'm
though. Judy's
personally
going to
not
be a
referring
hoot.
to the no longer masked man. Brogu probably knows better off who I'm referring to.
I was trying not to talk about this, but I keep getting alerts.
What, Judy? We're going to talk about
Oh.
Judy? His next movie, Judy?
No, World War III.
Oh, what? Have they nuked?
China sent cargo planes into Iran, and Afghanistan just said if the United States gets into it, we're getting into it also.
China's been sending cargo planes into Iran for decades.
Jesus.
Well, respectfully, at this point, nobody trusts America when it comes to getting into the war because we don't know which side you're going to be on.
Yep.
And that's as political as we're going to get.
All right, back to Mission Impossible. This probably will be like they said. This probably will be the last movie in the franchise.
Hopefully,
not many actors can get 8 movies done and still have that level of intense action throughout all the movies. Were some of them good? Yes. Was some of them bad? Maybe. Was the one with Henry Cavill the best? Yes. Henry Cavill playing a villain is always the best for me. But let's see where Tom Cruise goes after this. Days of Thunder Part 2. Cocktail Part
the movie he's making right now, Judy, where he plays it's like a dark slapstick comedy. He plays a multi-trillionaire who creates a problem and then has to go through the motions of trying to fix it before it destroys the world.
I know he's also supposedly.
And I can't wait.
He's also supposedly working on the third Top Gun movie.
And he wanted to do a movie with Michael B. Jordan, I think, after seeing Sinners.
Yeah,
I think he wanted to do a movie with Michael B, which I wouldn't mind that.
it's already been announced that he's working on the third Top Gun movie.
Mhm.
So
A third of the third Top Gun movie has already been shot. It was shot when they shot Maverick.
yeah.
Les Grossman movie is next.
Ew.
I don't know why. I think Judy is the name of the AI that is unleashed in, or whatever happens in the movie. Judy is named after whatever process destroys the world that he has to attempt to mitigate. And I'm assuming
wow.
he fails colossally.
That Judy movie has a interesting cast. I'll say that.
A good cast.
That John Goodman, Jesse Plemons, Robert John Burke, Emma Darcy, Riz Ahmed, Sophie Wilde.
Yep.
Not bad for a cast.
I think Goodman's already shot all of his stuff because he's in Central Illinois shooting a movie called Chili Finger right now.
Yeah. I'd heard about that.
You see,
All right, next up,
Crazy Joe is choosing violence when it comes right now.
Joe always chooses violence. Mike Flanagan's Carrie series has begun filming. Yes, I love Carrie.
Okay.
That remake
Same.
did not do it justice.
Mike Flanagan working on Carrie is great.
Yes.
What he's
Yes.
doing afterwards is even better. He's going to tackle the Dark Tower series, Stephen
Ooh.
King's Dark Tower series. Each book is going to be a season of that show.
Yeah,
my
that
God.
one.
He's taking some reputational damage this weekend, though.
Just no, Joe. No.
From what?
That's why I said he's choosing violence.
Do Mission Impossible.
Life of Chuck.
The amount of YouTubers that will lose their mind over that would honestly, I'd
Critically and
want to just
commercially.
for that.
Well, you
They've
know,
done.
movies don't always do good. Mike Flanagan's still a good.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. But like I said, it is a reputational hit.
Okay. Again, he'll survive it. He's made more than enough good stuff.
Yeah, agree.
And I like the idea that they're doing Carrie as a series rather than a movie because there was a whole lot more behind that book.
Yeah.
Than can fit on a 90-minute movie.
I still have to argue with people that he's not married to Peg Bundy. Jesus Christ, people. Names sometimes sound alike.
Okay.
Oh, Michael B. Jordan, not Michael Jordan, the basketball player.
No. The reason why I say YouTubers will lose their minds is because of going back to that whole woke conversation. Anytime that a movie winds up being led by somebody who looks like me or like Brucifer, they automatically declare it woke, especially if it winds up being we're replacing a standard white male actor.
Well, you know what I say to people who say that?
Get your panties out of a notch.
No, seriously, kick rocks and eat shit.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
I think he's only going to get a story credit.
They do it on purpose. They stand there and they put on their YouTube and they go, if this movie's so woke, if you watch it, your balls are gonna fall off. Get over yourself.
Yeah, exactly. God. And like I said,
they're all gonna laugh at you.
They can kick rocks and eat shit.
Give me a goddamn Christine remake.
Brian Fuller.
No.
Brian Fuller's remaking Christine.
Out of all of the Stephen King movies that have already been made, a good remake would be Christine because you could do that easily.
Yeah,
Brian Fuller's got it.
You could actually modernize
Christine meets Fast and the Furious.
You could actually modernize Christine, and it would still be a good movie.
It's all about family and cars.
Because
I still want a Fast and the Furious Jurassic Park crossover.
Except this time he's going all the way gay instead of just having it be a gay allegory.
Which movie?
Brian Fuller's Christine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Christine versus her. Yes.
What? They did a Firestarter movie, and it was bad.
It was bad.
That movie was so bad. Did you guys see that remake?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen the remake.
Oh,
I'm sorry, you cannot beat the one with Drew Barrymore.
I think
No,
we
I
need to
think
take a moratorium from
I
Stephen
think
King adaptations until somebody decides to make another version of Trucks, which was Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive.
Emilio Estevez went on this. He's been on this tour teasing people that he was going to be in Mission Impossible 8, but he wasn't. He's talking about, he's finally got back together with the Breakfast Club people, and he pitched a Maximum Overdrive sequel. But it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But you never know these days. Mike Flanagan's making a CARRIE show.
Oh, Forbidden Planet is one of my favorite movies. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, and Cameron's had that one tied up forever. Forbidden Planet and Fantastic Voyage. I think he has had the feature film remake rights to those, or Lightstorm has for years.
Okay. I have to ask, Stephen King butt weasels?
Oh, that's Dreamcatcher. Yeah, and the only reason they call them shit weasels, but the only reason they call them that is because one of them shot up a guy's ass in the movie while he's on the toilet.
Okay.
There's not enough cocaine existing for a Maximum Overdrive sequel.
Dude, cocaine.
I don't think anybody's told Emilio Estevez that.
Hold on. Cocaine.
No, he's not pitching.
He's working on them.
Yeah, and also the St. Elmo's Fire, whatever it's going to be. I think it's going to be a show.
Now, here's the thing. Cocaine explains why Maximum Overdrive got made in the first fucking place, okay?
I'm Stephen King, and I'm going to scare the hell out of you.
And Stephen King will even tell you, when he made that commercial for Maximum Overdrive, when he said, I'm going to scare the hell out of you, he says, look at my eyes. I was stoned as fuck. He's at least honest about it.
Oh, yeah, he is 100% honest about it. I mean, you know how much cocaine he did, right?
Well, no, I love the story about when his wife and his family did the intervention on him, how they gathered up all the trash cans around the house and dumped them out in front of him. And there was 147 small cocaine baggies in one trash can.
Humor me for a second.
Where was this trash can? Where can I find it?
Small like what? Small like teeners or small like 8 balls? Like
teener bags. He had 147 in one trash can. That was just one trash can, and they dumped out about 16 in front of him.
They completely missed the setup for the joke.
They did.
All right, moving away from cocaine and ass.
Woohoo!
What do we got next? Oh, Warner Brothers Discovery grants CEO David Zaslov $225 million worth of stock option, revising his employment agreement to significantly reduce his annual pay. Once the company separate, he will get what, $3 to $4 million a year.
Yeah, he originally went with one number, and all of the shareholders went, "No, you're not.
What the hell did my?
No, you're not. Stop it."
Oh, there we go. Yeah, pretty much.
You can't have any more money. We're not giving it to you.
So if the separation doesn't happen by said date next year, he will keep his original salary of 50-something million a year.
He's still overpaid.
And his contract, the new contract, is extended till 2030. He is not going anywhere, guys.
No, I didn't figure he would be, but he's taking a kick in pay.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo!
Honestly, he should work on commission.
He really should.
Yeah,
this is in addition to the amount of stock he already owns, right? Which I believe is
immense.
Like, wasn't that like $800 or $900 million?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So sounds like he's winning.
He is winning.
You know, this guy.
He is winning. Unfortunately, the studio he's running isn't.
In my honest opinion, and this is just my honest opinion, This guy can take a flying fuck off a rolling donut.
That is
Haven't they had a banner year so far?
They've had a pretty good year.
Well, better than they've had in recent years, but
This is true.
that's not saying much.
Well, no, that's why they're splitting again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but with Warner Brothers, over the last 20 years, it's been split, remerge, split, remerge, split, remerge.
Yeah, if you go back and read when they first talked about the merger and how the SpinCo was going to happen with this merger, I believe they state in nearly every one of those articles that the possibility was then that the SpinCo could remain and they could keep movies and TV or broadcasting and movies and streaming separate or merge, because it was pre-approval. The idea was they were just going to keep the SpinCo, which was what they're doing now.
Yeah.
So this was always a possibility. Plus, we've seen countless studios do it. Universal's done it. They're in the middle of it now. Lionsgate's done it. They're in the middle of it now. I think Disney would if they could, but I think everything is so tightly woven there that they would have to dump something entirely before they could do anything like this. So it's really, I don't know. I guess I just don't. I'm not defending him. He's a CEO. Why would I defend a fucking CEO?
Yeah.
All he is a Rolodex. He's an emotionless cipher with really good veneers. He's really. But I mean, like people like Crazy Joe's thing is he hates animation. He very well may, but that doesn't. My access to Warner Brothers cartoons hasn't gone anywhere. I still have Cartoon Network. I still have Boomerang. I still have MeTV. I still have MeTV Tunes.
But it's absolutely correct, because most DC fans will tell you their animated movies have always been on point.
They have.
And why would you set that aside?
In fact,
until the Tomorrowverse, but that predated any of this. And the Tomorrowverse stuff started. That's when everything went downhill. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, not meaning to offend anyone here, but in my opinion, originally the DC animated universe was better than in most things live action.
No, agreed.
Oh yeah, I love those. They were somewhat. I mean, it was like every other. It was like every other one. So they weren't all perfect. Some were a lot better than others. Some felt downright epic. Some felt downright shitty. But once that first Tomorrowverse or whatever they were going to try to call it, when they switched the animation style and they tried to build a new continuity, all of that just fell flat for me. I think I liked that that 70s Batman one was kind of fun.
In fact, one of my favorites of that whole of the whole animation set was probably Justice League Gods and Monsters, which was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah,
Red Sun was good. I liked The Killing Joke. There were quite a few of the Batman ones and the JLA ones which were good. Yep. Of course, when it comes to DC, especially in the comics, I've always been an Elseworlds guy. But it's good stuff for the most part.
Good. Yeah.
When did they start that Tomorrowverse stuff? When they tried to build that new continuity?
Red Hood, what is it? Justice League Doom, where they use Batman.
Oh yeah, those were good. There were
dude,
and the 2-part Justice League Darks were really good. The Aquaman, what was it? Something of Atlantis. That was a good one.
Yeah, this is why I say anytime the GOAT conversation comes up, like who is your GOAT Batman, who is your GOAT Joker, I stand by it. It is Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. Oh. And I'll even throw the voice actor for Cyborg in there. At this point, he's as synonymous with the character as Kevin Conroy is for Batman.
One of these days,
two massive Blu-ray collections of Looney Tunes hit shelves this week, or hit your favorite e-tailer this week? Two massive. I think they've got like 50 each, maybe. I think.
One of these
Don't
days,
quote me on that, but
I will let y'all hear my impersonation of Mark Hamill's Joker.
Mm.
And this dude is 150% behind physical media. I can tell you that much. That the Warner Archive basically has a blank check to get whatever they think the people want out to them in disc form, whether it's MOD or a mass market retail release. So we got that going for us.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We have Star Wars boss Kathleen Kennedy is lobbying for Disney CEO Bob Iger to receive an honorary Oscar. Some Academy board members have been squeamish over the optics, sources say. Do the optics look bad on this?
Yeah, he doesn't. Why? What is he?
He's not a creative.
But I guess, I mean, he's a CEO of. Well, I'd have to look at the honorary Oscars list, but that seems kind of weird to me. It's yeah, I don't know.
Give him an Oscar.
An Emmy maybe, because he was more groundbreaking in television than he's ever been in film. But it's more than just movies for him. So like, he doesn't deserve one.
What exactly does Bob Iger do when it comes to the movies?
He has a Rolodex.
He's a finance guy.
So he
has a Rolodex.
They would give him an Oscar just for writing checks.
Basically.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time it happened. Yeah. They name an award. There's an honorary Oscar named after somebody who just wrote checks.
I will say this, Terry. This is not Star Wars.
But yeah, I think this is. Yeah, I wouldn't like. The theater owners theater owners are lobbying to get a vote, and I'm 100% behind that. I wouldn't vote for it.
I'm going to get a little sidetracked because I know I put this here for one reason and one reason only. I know a certain ex-masked man that's probably watching right now that he's going to say, haha, this is why they haven't fired her. She's going to get Iger an Oscar so she gets to stick around for another 5 years. She's buying her way.
Oh my God! All I have to say to the masked man is this, and I completely disagree with everything he said in that video. None of those layoffs were at Lucasfilm. None of that had anything to do with this woman staying with Lucasfilm or not. She didn't refuse to leave. She just said, I'm going out on my own terms. That is not a refusal to leave. That is simply saying, it's not my time yet. Nobody has asked her to leave, except for a bunch of fanboys who are mad because a woman's in a position of power.
Thank you.
So this woman has been involved in the last 30 years with some of the best movies of our childhoods. And to sit there and belittle her down to a fact that she was only a gopher girl for fucking Steven Spielberg, I don't think so. Okay, this woman has some brains. This woman had some talent. And whether you like what she's done with Lucasfilm or not, and I don't necessarily like everything she's done with Lucasfilm, she is still a competent executive. None of those layoffs in the parks, none of those layoffs in production had anything to do with her because none of them were at Lucasfilm. So get off of Kathy Kennedy, back the hell off of it, and let it fucking go, people.
JJ said they awarded honorary Oscars to societies and organizations. Not being a creative has nothing to do with it. Lucifer starts the fire and leaves.
Yeah, I agree with that. But he's like I said, CEOs are basically who they are because of who they know and what they can do with who they know.
Yeah.
They're a living Rolodex. They're a living network of finances and contacts. And I like I said, I wouldn't vote for it. It's one thing to give, I don't know. the fund that pays for the palliative care of people in the Screen Actors Guild an honorary Oscar. It's another thing to give Bob fucking Iger one.
Yeah, I agree. All right, enough of Bob Iger and KK. Let's move on to news of the day. Big news. Variety article came out today. Variety, or was it Variety? No, it was
Rolling
Deadline.
Stone.
Rolling Stone had an interview.
Same company. We have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You
But
got.
the magazine was the Rolling Stone. That was the point. Anyway, let's go.
Yeah, I know, but I think you kind of gotta. They're all the same.
So first up, out of this article, James Gunn says the movie industry is dying because films are made without finished scripts, and Marvel got killed by it. Output increases that wasn't fair. Is this fact? Is this made up, or is he had hit the nail on the head?
I think that
he was there.
I think Phase 4 of Marvel had a glut. That being said, however, Marvel wasn't killed by anything. Okay. I want to point out Marvel has made, on the MCU, Marvel has made well over $24 billion. Do you know how many movies can fail and they still don't really lose money? All of those shows, regardless of on Disney Plus, regardless of ratings, regardless of any of that, those shows were all paid for by that $24 billion that the MCU movies have made. Okay. And I can say the same for Star Wars. The 5 movies that Lucasfilm has put out since they've been under Disney have made around $5 billion. All of those plus shows could fail and they're still paid for. Okay.
And these shows were not made to make profits. I don't believe.
No,
they were made to get subscribers to Disney Plus.
Okay, and that's another point I want to make. You want to go back to talking. People want to talk about the golden age of television, back when seasons were 24 episodes long. Did you know that none of those shows made money for those production companies? You know what made money during television?
Syndication.
Yeah, until they hit syndication, no, they didn't make any money in their original runs. None of them. The only way those shows made money, those production companies made money, was the ads played during those shows. Okay? People look at money, and again, this goes back to us talking about box office. People look at money and all they see is, oh, well, it didn't make back this. Well, you don't think about the back end of things. You don't think of merchandising. You don't think of what they made in sales of the movies. You don't think of the back end of anything. Nobody talks about that. Also, most people don't talk about the fact that the marketing is often written off by production companies because they know they're not going to make their marketing back. Okay? So that's usually used as a write-off against the tax credits that they get for those fucking movies. But no, people don't want to talk about that. No, they just want to talk about the big fluffy numbers in front of their face. They don't pay attention to anything else.
Yeah, I tried. I've been trying for a long time. I gave up because, we could do a whole string about the completion bond industry, but nobody wants to talk about how you can get insurance against your movie not being made, or if your movie fails. Anyway.
There's a whole lot more things than what the YouTube crowd is seeing. When it comes to making movies, when it comes to the back end of these things, when it comes to $24 billion in MCU movies that have paid for those D+ shows that everybody says is causing the companies to fail. Do I think that James Gunn has a point here? There was a little bit of glut in the fourth phase. They're fixing that problem. Do I think they need to pull back with the reins on a few of these things? Of course. Do I think that they're all going to fail? No. Disney's monolithic. Disney can lose billions a year and still be okay.
But I do agree with him to an extent that you shouldn't start filming a movie until scripts are finished.
I do agree with that.
You shouldn't start filming movies with an unfinished script that you're working on the fly on.
On movies, sure. Television shows, not so much, because if you go week to week with those shows, You could actually start production on say episodes 1 or 2 before you finish the scripts for episode 8. But my point is he right in a lot of ways? Sure. The movie industry is dying because of a lot more than that, though. And streaming is part of what's killing it. And that is an honest thing.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I agree.
In a few years, you're going to be able to hit a button on a remote and go, I want a movie made about this. And then you'll be able to create your own shit. I say that even though I don't want that to ever happen, it's probably going to happen. I give it a decade.
Well,
Maybe more.
Next up. Wait, did it switch? Did it switch? God damn it, did it switch? It did switch. Aha. All right. So we have James Gunn's Batman's biggest enemy? Yes? No? Maybe? We got some other stuff from the same article. James Gunn says Batman is his biggest issue in developing all DC right now. I'm not writing Batman, but I'm working with the writer of Batman and trying to get it right. Our two priorities are finishing our Wonder Woman and our Batman scripts. And also, James Gunn said he's not interested in a funny, campy Batman. Batman has to have a reason for existing, right? So Batman can't just be, oh, we're making a Batman movie because Batman is the biggest character in all Warner Brothers, which he is. But because there's a need for him in the DCU and a need that he's not exactly the same as Matt's Batman, but yet he's not a campy Batman. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in a funny, campy Batman, really. So we're dealing with that. I think I have a way in. By that way, I think I really know what it's. I just am dealing with the writer to make sure that we can make it a reality. A lot of people wanted Batman to be the first movie out the gate for the new DCU.
I think I personally think it had to be the Boy Scout. Because yes, Batman is popular, but Superman has always been DC's flagship. Now, the Trinity, I think it's a great idea that they get the Trinity out there. Especially because that's usually a foundation basis of most DC projects is the Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I agree with him that we don't need a campy Batman, but you're going to have to juxtapose that Batman between his Batman and Matt Reed's Batman.
Yep.
And if you've got a way broody Batman on the Matt Reed side, which you do, how are you going to make Batman different on the DCU side?
I think that's the problem they're having. For me,
the problem. He says he's got his in. It's not a problem anymore. Remember that thing Gail Simone was talking about a few months ago, Brucifer?
Yes, where she was on set.
Yeah.
What did Gail Simone say?
Degrassi.
Refresh my memory.
She was on set of a filming. What we thought at the time was a movie. It's not. It was a TV show.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to say a whole lot. I mean, I think it's her Blue Sky. Go back and look at her Blue Sky from like February, March, April. I want to say around there.
Yeah. I'll say it without spoiling anything. Let's just say she saw an actor that she would never have seen dress up in that costume ever again, filming for a show. And there's only been a couple of shows being filmed that are completed or currently in development.
And then she's also writing the stupid dog. That's my other big bitch. She's barking now. Anyway.
Why do I need to go?
He's writing the Rebel Moon. Is it the comic or the novel? There's a novel.
Max Massaggio was writing the comic.
Yeah, well, Gail Simone's writing something for Rebel Moon. A Rebel Moon tie-in something.
Ooh.
And she was talking about that and talking to James Gunn and Zack Snyder within the same time frame. And one of them she talked to on the phone, and the other one she saw on set. So yeah.
Yeah,
it's all speculation, but Gail's not really known to be. She likes to. She likes to joke and stuff, and you got to know when she's. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Well,
I think we should know more. I think we should know more come August or September.
Yeah.
What's that?
Gail Simone is like, she's like amazing. She can write any character, anyone. It's her writing. X-Men right now is like next level.
I've loved her on X-Men, but no, it's just going back months to go to what she said is what I'm trying to do here.
But
I think what how many episodes is Peacemaker? 8? 12? I don't remember.
It's 8, I believe.
I think when James Gunn says, "Yeah, we're not casting Batman right now," it's probably because they've already cast Batman.
Oh, probably.
I would agree. The same way Supergirl didn't have a director, they already had cast Supergirl for Superman.
Oh dear.
Yep.
So Batman could be cast, and I'm sticking with what I've been saying for the last
year.
But
I think the only way that you make Batman to show a difference between two different Batman and two different universes is to simply not have one of them be Bruce Wayne.
And what have I been saying for the last year, Degrassi?
Probably Dick Grayson.
Yes, I've been saying that this is Dick Grayson because James Gunn is very careful what images he picks and shows and what comics influences him. And he picked that Batman and Robin cover because that is Damian and Dick Grayson in the Batman suit.
I'd say at this point, anything goes.
Yeah. And
especially if they're keen on keeping everything separate and keeping what does Reeves call it? The Batman Epic Crime Universe. Or the Batman Epic Crime Saga. Different than I think even Pattinson's Batman has jokes. I do think the DCU Batman will have a sense of humor. But I think what the DCU, and I think we've already seen it in Creature Commandos, the DCU's Gotham and the criminal elements within it are going to have like a science fiction-y horror type. We've seen it with Phosphorus. There's going to be it's going to be almost like a sci-fi horror element to that Gotham, I think. Not campy, not funny, but definitely super fantastic or fantastical.
Yeah. And that's what we need. We really need that fantastical Gotham where you can have the Joker, where you can have Man-Bat, where you can have Mr. Freeze without, compromising the fantastical element of these characters.
I think the Phosphorus origin in Creature Commandos is really sets the tone and sets the stage for what we have to look forward to as far as it comes to Batman's Rogues Gallery.
Yeah.
Rupert Thorne, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this like you said, it really does give them an out without having two Bruce Waynes, and you can tell them apart by one is Dick, one is Bruce. You can always have Bruce is in another dimension or he's missing,
or presumed dead.
Yes. You can, and Brave and the Bold is, you can have the whole Bat family helping them out. You can get Batgirl, you can get Tim Drake, you can get Stephanie Brown, you can get
Oliver Queen.
Yes.
You can get Ted Cord, you could get Alec Holland, Swamp Thing, you could get all of that.
Oh. Yeah, and like
I
these
think there's still
superheroes
an
are
Arcane. I think there's still an Anton Arcane reference in Superman.
you can get a whole universe just by making Dick Grayson Batman, and you can have all these other characters come into Gotham to help keep Gotham safe, or as safe as it can be as Gotham.
I always like the idea of having like more than one Batman.
Yeah.
So it kind of adds to the urban myth and the legend of the Batman, and
Yes.
where he's in more than one place at the same time, and you can't really pin him down, and it just where like you have Bruce, Tim, Dick, Damian, all of them at some point are all going out at night together.
In the recent run of Nightwing, when one of his villains exposed his identity, and while Dick was on the run, they had Bruce playing Nightwing, showing that it wasn't Dick Grayson, that it was somebody else with Nightwing. It's been done. And CJ says, that way Matt Reeves gets to play with Bruce and James gets to play with Dick. Oh, wait. Funniest thing CGH has ever said. James is right.
But I really hope they go with that kind of, even I'm thinking about the Doug Mensch and Kelly Jones era of Batman, where everything was kind of scary and like
dark,
science fiction horror, kind of and maybe some Alan Grant and Norm Brayfogle era, the detective, Shadow of the Bat type stuff. Again, a lot of like dark science and magic and stuff. I'm down.
That's what a lot of fans have been waiting for them to bring magic into the DCU. And with magic, you can get Dark Justice League, you can get Zatanna, you can get Constantine. There's so many characters. Detective Chimp.
One of my favorite comics, Batman comics of the last like 2 or 3 years has been that Jason Aaron, Doug Mankey Offworld, where Batman goes space, goes to another planet and like rides a giant alien tiger beast and gets shirtless and has a laser sword and shit. That stuff was awesome. I love Space Batman. How many movies did it take Spider-Man until he got to outer space? Let's not do this with that Batman. Let's get Batman to outer space. He's got a cave on the moon. He can use the quantum unfolding chamber to get there. That's really all it is a Justice League teleporter or a door through the bleed, like the Authority.
So you're talking about the moon cave?
Yeah. I'm all for Batman's Batcave on the moon. Let's do it. Yeah. He's got 2 giant pennies. Yes, he has 2 giant pennies.
Yes, and I will show this. This is probably one of my favorite Kelly Jones covers from that era.
Oh yeah, that's a great cover.
I love this cover. Such a good cover. That's when Batman had super long ears, which I love. A lot of people didn't like it.
McFarlane's got a Troika era figure coming out, so long ears and kind of like a ghastly smiling grimace.
Oh, look at this! James Gunn should give Matt Reeves the boot. The trades are now reporting he's producing another project for another studio. Ooh!
Oh no! Say it isn't so. Like they can't work for other studios. Oh no!
Wow, that really hampers his ability to work on his script, if it's true.
Oh no.
Wasn't he already producing another movie anyway? Hasn't that always been the case?
People act like the directors can't work for 2 different studios.
I think when a movie has been pushed back this many times, and he still hasn't submitted a script, people begin to worry.
Oh no.
You know,
Anyway.
What's his name is not getting any younger over there to play Batman.
Oh no. Anyway.
Didn't he produce Andy Serkis's Animal Farm?
Yes. And
I don't know. Yeah, I don't see how his producing duties are going to interfere with. That's kind of his job.
Writing.
Yeah, I mean, it's what these people do. I don't get it.
Like I said,
it's gonna be 5 years. It's what, 5 years between these movies?
Yeah.
Yep,
Is that odd? Is that odd for
a sequel? No.
I don't.
A comic book sequel? Not
I
definitely.
know
not.
that. Yeah, I know that that's a choice that the DCU crew is trying desperately to avoid, because if Superman is even close to a hit, they're going to go right into making that next movie. They're not going to waste any time.
Well, aren't they
They're not
already
gonna wait.
working on Supergirl?
No, I'm talking about a Superman sequel, whatever that will be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
When he says he's in it, he means he's in it.
Well, you could basically bet the farm on that one.
And I imagine he's going to take a substantial amount of time off after the movie opens. And then we won't hear from him again probably until September, October, when the home video release drops. And then I think that's when we'll hear a lot more.
Oh yeah,
and we'll know a lot more just based on having seen Superman however many times or however you process it, and Peacemaker and Creature Commandos going back, because you're probably going to want to go back and watch that again after you've seen all that other stuff. It's not like necessary or anything, but it's going to be neat to watch because it's just added value. All this, what connections are there, regardless of how tenuous they are still fun.
Yeah.
So, Batman is not in trouble. I don't think James Gunn is Batman's worst enemy. I really do hope that the plan is to have two Batmans, one be Bruce, one be Dick. Dick. Family show, guys. Family show.
Dick.
And I think it will work out perfectly. It won't confuse the audience, even though most audience need their hands held for some reason. I don't get it, but they do. So we'll see where this goes. See if this whole universe can be pulled off. 4 weeks. We'll be watching Superman. Then a month after that, we'll be watching Peacemaker, where we might get a cameo at some point. Who knows? We might get some introductions of some A-list superheroes or
I know
superheroes.
That Frank Grillo is in Superman. He's also supposed to be in Peacemaker.
Yes.
So there's one connection.
I think I think the writing's pretty much on the wall that like James Gunn could shit the bed, and whatever plan is in motion is going to remain in motion without him. Mm-hmm. That they're just going to keep pushing forward with what's ever been and just try to build on it with whoever comes in next, if that's necessary. Because I think they feel like whatever, if the ship had veered off or it sunk or capsized or whatever, they feel like they're on course now.
Yeah.
And no matter what happens, we're going to go ahead and ride this vision out and see where it takes us.
Yeah.
Because I think, if Gunn shits the bed, I really don't see Peter Safran going anywhere.
No.
So
you know, who
I
knows?
think it's like if you like any of this shit in any capacity, it's an exciting time.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, and I've been saying that. We've gotten a little bit of everything for Star Wars. We have more than enough for Marvel. You don't have to watch everything. Again, like I said a couple weeks ago, people have all this. We've got to do this homework before I see this movie. No, you don't. YouTube, homie. If you don't want to watch a movie, there's somebody with a 20-minute video on YouTube that'll tell you all about it.
That's what I tell people that said they don't want to read comics, but they love comic book movies. There's videos about every goddamn comic book that's ever been released out there.
Rob over at
I don't think I would
everything.
like comic book movies if I had never read a comic book.
Here's
Like
the thing.
you know what the discussion that I had with somebody this weekend was?
What?
Why would this is what like people who don't live and breathe comic book and fucking space wizard movies talk about, that just like movies, right? Why is Benicio del Toro doing that kind of movie? What do you mean, what kind of movie? A Wes Anderson movie? Yeah, I don't want to see him in a comedy. I'm like, well, what do you mean you don't want to see him in a comedy? I mean, this isn't his first rodeo. You like those other movies, right? Well, yeah, but this one doesn't look good. Okay, whatever you say. That's what normies talk about.
Yep.
It's the same shit. It's just like, I don't think Benicio del Toro is funny. Okay. I do. I do think he's funny. I think he's funnier than hell. I don't think he's been given enough of an opportunity to be comedic in films. Somebody change that. Wes Anderson's trying.
Yeah.
Sorry for branching off there.
You're fine.
I'm playing Pirate Yakuza, talking movie shit.
You just said basically what I've been trying to say.
I'm glad I decided to stream tonight. We actually talked about movies. We talked about stuff we love.
Well, see, this is the thing. Chris and I have talked about this. Not enough of us talk about the art of the movies or why we like a movie. All we talk about is box office. All we talk about is budget. All we talk about is this movie flopped or that movie's woke or this actor's an asshole or that one's. Look, some of my favorite actors, I don't agree with their politics. That doesn't change the fact that I watch them in movies. Okay. One of my favorite Jonathan Kents is John Snyder, and he's a full-on Trumper, and I don't like it. Politics-wise. But that being said,
it changed the whole thing of him jumping out that goddamn General Lee.
my point is, I love.
I do too, man. What are you gonna do?
Love him as Jonathan Kent. He's probably the best Jonathan Kent I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change my mind about it. Look, you can have your politics, whatever. You know, am I going to disagree with your politics? Of course I am. Am I going to disagree with the characters you play on the screen? No, because I can actually separate art from artist, which is another thing that a lot of people have lost these days.
You'll be happy to hear, Bruce, for that. Are you familiar with the movie? The guy, what was his name? Dearden movie, Moonrunners. It's the movie that the Dukes of Hazzard is based on.
No, I've never seen Moonrunners.
And it's getting a 4K restoration. It's a wonderful, dirty little drive-in grindhouse movie from the mid-'70s, and it's got the narration and the story's kind of the same. You know, two brothers or cousins or whatever running moonshine for their uncle, and they got the law and the town boss after them. And it's a James Mitchum. I think it's Robert Mitchum's son. I'm going to pull it up now. James Mitchum. Yeah, Moonrunners, 1975.
Oh, Moonrunners.
It's just I think you can probably watch the whole movie. A Guy Waldron. That's it. You can probably watch the whole movie on YouTube, but it is getting a full AAA
thing on YouTube.
Yeah, it's getting a full AAA restoration.
Ooh.
Which is exciting. So I'm hoping that bodes well for the show too, because the show is shot on film. So we'll see. We're getting some classic shows in 4K, and I'm hoping that's one of them.
James Mitchum. I'm trying to remember. That's Robert Mitchum's son, right?
Yeah, Robert Mitchum's son, James Mitchum. He wasn't as big of a star as his dad.
Yeah.
Hold on, I've got to look up a genre.
But it's got the Waylon Jennings narrates the movie like he does the show. It has the show. So many of the show's tropes were started in that movie.
I'm a huge John Wayne fan. That was Christopher Meacham that was in Big Jake. Played one of John Wayne's sons. It was the other Meacham boy that.
Excuse me.
Randy Quaid is that shit. That's crazy. I agree with that one.
Dude, he's been batshit for about 20 years, guys. That's nothing new. That dude was talking about the deep state and taxes before QAnon came out, man.
Dennis is right behind him. Dennis Quaid's right behind him. He's like Randy Quaid light. He believes the same shit. He just doesn't run his mouth about it.
Still doesn't mean I'm gonna not watch Christmas Vacation every year, guys.
He was just at a con. He just did a con here, and who did he take a picture with? The last person in the world I suspected I'd see Randy Quaid in a photograph with. I can't. It might have been Chevy Chase.
Oh,
might have been.
And it fairly just really recently.
Wow. All right. With that said, we're going to continue this conversation backstage.
Mm-hmm.
You guys in the chat have been wonderful. Thank you, Mama Bear, Douche Grassi.
Hey, I just wanted to say, if anybody hasn't watched the show, if anybody hasn't noticed what?
Douche Grassi's chills.
Your name.
What are you talking about?
Your name.
If you guys haven't watched the show Paradise on Hulu, I can't recommend this show enough. I binged it. I started last night really late. I watched 4 episodes before I went to bed and got up and finished the other 4. Really, it's probably not the best time to watch a show like this, but ultimately I think it might be.
I don't think so.
Huh?
I don't know. Is it a good time? We'll see in the morning.
I don't know. Yeah. Watch Paradise on Hulu. Binge it. It's bingeable.
So with that, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and thank you for hanging out. And this is my 2-year anniversary week of being on YouTube. And this coming Sunday, I think, I'm giving away a slab.
Is our the Sunday comic book show going to be normal, like usual, or
maybe? Not sure. Depends on what happens tomorrow. With that said, good night, everyone.
Thinking of before you go, thinking of shows. Tomorrow on New to Who, we are doing one of the special streams.
Oh yes,
we're watching the 5 Doctors.
I will be there for that.
Yay!
Yay! You want to be there for that?
Wait a minute. Does the 5 Doctors have the War Doctor or no?
No, it's actually the first time that they had multiple doctors together. So it has somebody replacing William Hartnell. It has John Pertwee. It has, it is classic Who.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, gotta go before the 2 hours so I can make shorts.
Sorry.
All right.